That's not how that works, officer.
Okay. That's your opinion.
Can I get your supervisor? Can I get your supervisor out here? I'm asking to talk to your supervisor.
And I'm telling you, you can call the police department and ask for him then. Okay?
You can't call your supervisor out here?
Look, right here, boss.
So there's nobody above you?
Yeah, there sure is.
So you're a sergeant? So you're a sergeant and you're... Okay, so...
Sir, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Not bad. How can I help you?
I'm just doing a story on this program you guys are doing.
Okay.
Can I come in and take a look?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, thanks, appreciate it. You guys have a lot of customers today?
Yes, we did.
Yeah?
You have ID on you?
Just, no, I don't have ID on me.
Yeah.
No. Oh, he invited me in.
I understand. Come on.
No, please don't touch my camera.
Well, you're gonna have to get out.
Listen, okay, yeah, please don't touch me.
Right,
I'll leave.
well,
you asked me to leave, I'm gonna leave. All right?
Go ahead and
Just
leave.
make room for me. There's, you guys, look at you guys.
Go, walk. Leave. Walk.
Okay. Is this not a publicly accessible building?
No, it's
Please
not.
do not touch me. You can't.
touching you. Go ahead and leave.
You see me walking out, right? Your name and badge numbers, please. Please identify yourself. Please identify yourself.
What's up, man?
Hey, can you identify yourself, please?
Yes, Officer Gonzalez.
And your badge number, officer?
785.
I'm sorry? I'm a little hard of hearing, sir. I got hurt in a war. Can you say it a little bit louder, please?
Which war?
The Iraq War.
What years were you there?
That's not important, but
Okay, how'd you get here? All right, 7th Cav.
first, who? May I please have your badge number? I didn't hear you when you said it the first time.
785.
Thank you,
What's your
officer. Yeah, that's not important. So I walked in, and I was invited in, and then met with hostility. And can you explain that?
Because once I realized what you were doing.
Wait, I told you
can't
what I
do
was
that.
doing. I said I'm doing a
No,
story.
you're doing a story. I didn't know
Right.
you were actually filming.
You weren't forthcoming
Okay,
about
fair
what
enough.
you were doing. You
Wait, I was
wanted to
very
ask us, but
forthcoming.
You come in actively recording.
I'm
so.
holding my phone like this, sir, and I said I'm doing a story on this. May I come in? He said sure. Now, when you asked me to leave, I was but I'm just confused at like what the hostility is towards someone.
You know what? 'Cause we realized.
Trying to inform-
We just explained ourselves. We realized once what you were doing,
Uh-huh.
you cannot do that.
Why is that?
Because this is sensitive information inside there.
Well, it's a public building though, right?
No, there's
not a public
There's a public lobby up front.
Right, but this is where you're
public-
this is where you're inviting the public in today, though, right? I mean, your sign says right there on the door, use a side entrance. So this is where the public is coming into today, right?
It's to come to the side entrance where we take
Right.
you, allowed you to come to the door, yes, and then you wanted to record
Okay.
what's going on,
Sure.
which is not allowed, which is why
Okay.
you're asked to leave.
But is the public allowed in that building, or do you just meet everybody at the door, take
We've
their
been
drugs, and
meeting
say,
everyone at the door, and that's it.
fair enough, fair enough. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, now we gave you all the answers.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
So we're going to ask you a couple questions, and we're
Feel free.
requesting answers.
Feel free.
So what is your name?
That's not important. Educated citizen.
What is your name?
Educated citizen.
My name's Juan. My name's Officer
I got you,
Gonzalez,
officer.
all
I
right?
appreciate it. I'm not
Okay.
on the. This is just unbelievable. I came here.
Okay.
I
Now-
came here like in a very calm way. Just.
Absolutely. Well, why are you shaking?
I told you, adrenaline and a monster.
A what?
A monster.
Okay.
Yeah. But adrenaline mostly because I got 3 guys with guns that surrounded me because I had the audacity
Because you weren't
to
being
try to
honest
help
what
the
you were
community.
doing.
I wasn't being honest. I told you straight up, man. The video doesn't lie. Go watch it. Educated Citizen. It's on YouTube. All right. It's being streamed live. All you got to do is see what I said. I came to the door and I said, I'm doing.
No, do I need to? Have I committed any crimes?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna. I don't have any ID on me.
You don't have any idea on you.
No.
What's your name then?
I'm not saying.
Why's that?
Because I haven't committed any crimes. I don't
Okay.
need to give my name.
Well, I mean, I'm the one that determines that, right?
You just told me you haven't told me I committed any crimes yet, have you?
Right, we're trying to figure that out, correct?
Okay, so until you figure that out, then I don't have to give you
And
my
I
name.
can detain you until I figure it out. And the longer it takes me to...
So what are you detaining me for?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out, man.
Well, you can't detain somebody just until you figure. That's not how that works, officer.
Okay. That's your
Can I
opinion.
get your supervisor? Can I get your supervisor out here? I'm asking to talk to your supervisor.
And I'm telling you, you can call the police department and ask for him then. Okay?
You
I'm
can't
not
call
gonna-
your
No, I'm not
supervisor
gonna-
out here?
Look, right here, boss.
So there's nobody above you?
Yeah, there sure is.
So you're
You
a
wanna call the police
sergeant?
department?
So you're a
I am.
sergeant and
I
you're
am.
okay, so
Help me out here and try to figure this out, or we're gonna drag this out forever?
it's up to you.
No,
I'm not answering any more questions.
Okay, and why is that? Can I ask you why?
Not answering any more questions.
Okay.
Am I
Don't
still
have an
being
ID on
detained? No, I don't.
you? Okay.
Am I still being detained? Am I free to go?
The room feels ordinary at first. Fluorescent light, neutral walls, a public place designed to be forgettable. That is what makes the shift so easy to miss. Authority doesn't announce itself with sirens here. It arrives quietly, through posture, through proximity, through hands that move just a little too close. What began as permission becomes supervision. What felt open becomes narrow. There is a moment when bodies reposition. One steps forward, another closes space from the side. The exit is still visible, but it no longer feels available. Voices remain controlled. No one is shouting. Control does not need volume when it has numbers. The camera is the problem, though no one says it directly. The device changes the temperature of the room. It introduces memory where authority prefers discretion. The lens doesn't argue. It doesn't interrupt. It only records. And that alone is enough to alter behavior. An invitation, once given, is quietly revoked. The reason is never clear. Clarity would require accountability. Instead, the request becomes a command. The command becomes physical guidance. Hands hover, then they touch. Not violently, just enough. This is how escalation often begins, not with force, but with confusion. Confusion favors authority. When rules become flexible, enforcement becomes personal. The person holding the camera tries to comply, to leave, to de-escalate. Compliance should end the encounter. It does not. The body language tells the real story. Officers angle their shoulders. One blocks the most direct path out. Another watches the hands instead of the face. The message is subtle and unmistakable. You are not in control of this moment anymore. The space is technically public, but the atmosphere is private. Decisions are being made without explanation. Each second stretches because nothing definitive happens. That waiting is the pressure. The longer it goes on, the harder it becomes to leave without permission. Authority thrives in that pause. No charges are named, none are needed. Suspicion becomes a tool rather than a threshold. Questions are asked, not to gather information, but to assert dominance. Answers don't resolve anything. They only invite more questions. The camera remains steady. That steadiness is read as defiance. Calm is misinterpreted as challenge. In spaces like this, obedience is expected to look a certain way. Anything else feels like resistance. Hands reach again, closer this time. The movement is framed as guidance, but guidance does not require force. The exit narrows further. The line between escort and removal blurs. This is no longer about a building or a policy. It is about control, about who decides when an interaction ends, about who is allowed to observe and who is allowed to act without observation. When the person finally steps outside, the tension does not release. It lingers in the air like static. The encounter has ended physically, but the imbalance remains unresolved. Authority was challenged, not loudly, not aggressively, but simply by being recorded. That challenge will not be forgotten, because once authority feels questioned, it looks for ways to reassert itself, and sometimes it follows. Out on the street, the environment changes, but the dynamic does not. Movement replaces enclosure. Distance should bring relief. Instead, it introduces pursuit. A vehicle appears where there was none before, not close enough to justify concern, not far enough to ignore, just present, following the same turns, matching pace, silent, deliberate. This is where escalation becomes psychological. No lights, no sirens, just the awareness of being watched, the sense that the encounter is not over, it has merely shifted locations. Authority no longer needs walls, it uses motion. When the stop finally happens, it is framed as routine. Routine is a powerful word. It implies normalcy. It discourages resistance. But nothing about this moment feels routine to the person standing there. Questions come first. Not accusations, not explanations, just questions. The kind that assume compliance. The kind that suggest refusal will complicate things. Refusal does complicate things. Faces tighten, shoulders square. The calm begins to crack, not on the citizen's side, but on the officer's. Authority expects submission, not negotiation. When it doesn't receive it, irritation surfaces. Time stretches again. Minutes pass without resolution. The encounter exists in a limbo where nothing progresses forward. This is deliberate. Stalling is pressure. Pressure creates mistakes. Mistakes justify action, but no mistake comes. The citizen remains still. Answers are withheld without hostility. Distance is maintained. Every movement is measured. The absence of fear is read as insolence. More officers appear, not because the situation escalated, but because authority prefers witnesses when it feels exposed. The presence of multiple uniforms changes the balance even when no one speaks. They wait. Waiting becomes its own tactic. It communicates power through inconvenience. It reminds the citizen that time belongs to the state, not the individual. The longer it lasts, the more costly resistance feels. Yet still, nothing happens. The questions repeat, slightly rephrased. The tone sharpens, then softens, then sharpens again. This oscillation is meant to destabilize. It does not. At some point, the officers realize the stop has produced nothing. No justification, no leverage, no compliance beyond what was already given. Ending it now feels like losing, so it drags on a little longer. Eventually, authority retreats, not because it chose to, but because it has no other option. The permission to leave is offered as if it were generosity. As if the delay itself was not the point, the citizen waits until the vehicles move first. Trust has already been broken. Distance is restored cautiously, step by step. When it finally ends, there is no resolution, no apology, no acknowledgement, just separation. But the damage is done, because this was never about enforcement. It was about control, about testing how far authority could stretch without snapping, about seeing whether a camera could be intimidated into silence. It could not. Viewed together, these encounters reveal a pattern that rarely announces itself outright. It hides in procedure, in tone, in pauses, in the small decisions that compound into something heavier. Nothing here looks dramatic in isolation. No single moment demands outrage. That is precisely why it works. Authority misuse often depends on normalcy, on blending into routine, on relying on the assumption that those watching will move on. But moments like these don't disappear when the uniforms leave the frame. They linger with the person who experienced them. They alter expectations. They recalibrate trust. The camera in this context is not a weapon, it is a witness. And witnesses change behavior, not always for the better. When authority feels observed, it sometimes responds by tightening its grip instead of loosening it. These interactions show how quickly cooperation can be reframed as compliance, and how easily compliance can be demanded rather than earned. The shift is subtle. It begins with posture, with tone, with the unspoken belief that questioning authority is itself a violation. There is no chaos here, no shouting crowds, no emergencies. That calm is what makes the misuse visible. In quiet moments, intent becomes clearer. There is no crisis to justify excess, only choice. Choice to block instead of step aside. Choice to follow instead of disengage. Choice to stall instead of conclude. Each choice narrows the citizen's options while expanding the officer's control. That imbalance is the real escalation, not force, but inevitability. And yet, inevitability is not total. In both encounters, authority fails to produce the outcome it seeks. There is no confession, no surrender of rights, no moment where the citizen breaks character or composure. The power dynamic strains, but it does not collapse in authority's favor. That failure matters. Because systems built on unquestioned control depend on predictability, they expect people to fold. When someone doesn't, when they remain calm, still, and documented, the system reveals its seams. What remains afterward is silence, the kind that follows unresolved tension. No lessons stated, no conclusions announced, just footage that exists, unchanged, immune to reinterpretation. This is not a story about heroes or villains. It is about moments where restraint is tested and authority chooses pressure over patience, where observation is mistaken for provocation, where the presence of a camera transforms routine into confrontation. The consequences unfold later, off camera, in reports written carefully, in conversations behind closed doors, in reviews that may or may not happen, but the footage remains, unedited by memory. And that is the quiet danger for authority that overreaches, because control relies on forgetting. And the camera does not forget.